good morning, New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show. It is 7 a.m. straight up. I am Will Sutton, and I have to tell you, I am blessed, because the good Lord woke me up and put me on his good earth. Once again, gave me yet another day, planted my feet on the floor, and made sure I got on over to this Black Talk radio station. And I am happy to be with you, our WBOK Good Morning Show family of listeners. Of course, you can tune in on WBOK 1230 a.m. You can tune in via the station's website, and we are streaming live on WBOK's YouTube channel and WBOK's Facebook page on Facebook Live. Hey, y'all, how you doing? It's quite a day out there, and we're going to start as we normally do to give you an idea of what we saw when we came in and how things were feeling out there. So coming on in, it was on the warm side, if you're one of the folks who consider the 70s warm and the 80s hot and the 90s hot. 79 degrees and sunny out there. 79 degrees, bright and sunny. Feel like it's several degrees higher than that, about 85 degrees. Looking for a mostly sunny day this morning. And into the late morning, there'll be some clouds. The temperatures are going to go up into the 80s, the mid 80s, and then the high 80s. And looks like by this afternoon, we'll get into the low 90s. But we're not expecting rain, and we are looking for a quite beautiful day. Good news is we don't have an extreme heat advisory today. So you can dress accordingly. It does not mean that you should not take care of yourself. You definitely want to make sure that you are drinking plenty of fluids and that you are in the air conditioning more often than not, wherever you are. If you don't have air conditioning, hopefully you can get by a nice cool fan and move from one place to another. Look for those breezes along the way. And if you are so inclined, take a walk on the cool side. Take a walk where there is some shade. Take a walk where there is some breeze, maybe along a lake. Take a walk wherever you can and make it a shorter one than usual, unless you're one of those die-hard walkers or die-hard runners or joggers, and you can handle that kind of heat. So I want to make sure that you are aware that though it is not as hot as it has been, it still is hot and the humidity is strong. So look out for that. And of course, we've got kiddos back in school. Not everybody, but the young ones are starting to go back to school. It's early August, and that means school time around these here parts. So, as always, please, watch out for yourself, but watch out for those babies and the kiddos as you drive to wherever you are going. Take care of your personal care items at home, not in the car, and make sure that you are watching out for the other drivers, the crazy ones, not you, but watch out for them. Be a defensive driver and watch out for the babies and kiddos who are not paying attention. Getting out of those school buses, getting on school buses, getting out of cars, walking with their faces in the cell phones. Watch out for them, whatever you do. All right, well, look, we've got quite the show ahead for you today. And there's always lots going on, of course. But the main things are that we are going to talk about the state of Louisiana. We're going to talk about the state of Louisiana. A national ranking has put us last. It's not the first time we've been ranked last. A lot of folks around these here parts say, thank God for Mississippi. Well, it's not Mississippi this time. Mississippi is not behind us. Mississippi is doing better than us. And there's some other states that Mississippi are ahead of. So we're going to be looking at the most recent report, the State of the States report, national report, produced right here via Tulane University, but a national group of experts using all types of categories, strong methodology, and coming up with we are last. So stand by. That's going to be something that we'll be talking about this morning. We also are going to be talking about the community cooks of the Irish Channel. Fascinating group, fascinating organization, and we're going to hear from them, from Ms. Sherry Myers, and looking to have a good, engaging conversation about the work that they do. It's a grassroots volunteer group stocking community refrigerators. You probably have heard of this kind of organization before, and perhaps you have heard of this very one. Well, we're going to have Ms. Sherry here today to talk about the work that they do and find out more about perhaps how you can get involved and who they're serving. Okay. Meanwhile, let's take a look at some of the news. Well, there's a big headline out there today. Listen to this headline: New Orleans could run out of money soon. Here's Mayor Helena Moreno's plan to fix that. Wow. Run out of money. Now, I know a lot of folks talk about having more month than money, living paycheck to paycheck, and maybe spend a little too much on the chips and the soda, having a nice snack, getting too many coffees, having a little fun going to a movie, getting the popcorn, expensive movie, paying for too many subscriptions. So all of a sudden it's the 20th of the month and you got 9, 10, 11 more days and not enough money to make it work. Well, according to a report by my colleague Sophie Kasikoff, she's been here before. What they're looking at is scrambling to figure out how they can make payroll and take care of some other things. So imagine you have a bank account, and let's say you have some automatic payments. For those of you who still do this kind of thing, maybe you've written some checks. Maybe you have withdrawn some money to make some groceries. Maybe you have to buy a uniform for the kids. And little by little, what you thought was a comfortable amount decreases, and it's not so comfortable. So then you have to make some decisions. Well, it looks like that's what we are looking at. The city's looking to delay $35 million in infrastructure projects and use some reimbursements and rainy day funds to plug $110 million cash hole. You heard that right, $110 million cash hole, which was created in July. You may recall that Mayor Moreno, City Council, others, Governor of these here state, Jeff Landry, Attorney General Liz Murrow, got into a bit of a tiff between the state capitol and the city of New Orleans. Well, one of the things that is a part of the process of funding government in this state is a city like New Orleans has to go before the bond commission. And the bond commission is not loaning the money, but they have to approve that this is a good thing, the right thing, under the right circumstances. Well, they were all prepared. Mayor Moreno, Chief Administrative Officer Joe Giarrusso, and team, all prepared to make that request with all their proper paperwork, all the right numbers, make the request so they could seek the bonds and cover the expenses for the city. Well, the governor was pissed, and he decided that he didn't want the bond commission to approve that request. Apparently, he let that be known among the bond commissioners, his bond commissioners. And the word got back to the mayor. You can come as you want, but this is going to be rejected. So why put yourself through that? So she withdrew the request. And at the time, to her credit, at the time she said, this is not good, and it's going to mean some pain. Well, folks, here we go. So we are looking at the city making some choices that they might not have had to make if the previous desired request had been heard and approved. So the city is looking at shifting capital bond funds to the general fund, not something you really want to do. And you're looking at road work, green space, city-owned building improvements being cut or delayed. The city is describing that as, quote unquote, temporary pain. But there's more. The city is going to have to tap into the emergency or rainy day fund, $25 million, and going to have to push the Sewage and Water Board to hand over the $20 million it owes the city. So it's not like they're just saying, give us $20 million, like you owe this money. This was for upfront spending on FEMA road work, and we need the money. So please give us the money. I'm assuming it's a please at the moment. Might become more than please if the money is not forthcoming. You may recall the thing between the city and the schools. Okay, it took a little while. Well, it looks like Sewage and Water Board and city officials going to be having some conversations about $20 million. And they need it. So this is to solve a cash crisis that the mayor knew was likely to come when she was about to request the $110 million bond commission approval. She indicated that there would be some pain. Well, here we go. So we'll be finding out more about these proposals to save money, delay projects, cut projects when this kind of thing happens. Some of these things you may not think affect you, but when you are looking for road repairs, street repairs, and you say, why is it not happening? Some of that is scheduling, some of that is interruptions, and in a case like this, some of it is money, 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 and it has to come from somewhere. It's not as simple as the city wanting to do it, of course. The city has to go to the city council, the New Orleans City Council, for a number of these cash flow funding plan matters. So that is likely to go before the city council this Thursday. It was reviewed by a city council committee last week. And anytime the city wants to tap the rainy day fund, the emergency fund, that definitely has to go from the executive branch to the legislative branch as a part of checks and balances. Because if you have a savings account for your Christmas fund, vacation account, or savings for the future, or certainly retirement, you don't want anybody just going in and tapping that money for something that they say they need now. So it's a good thing that city council has that responsibility. And that's going to be heard on Thursday. And Jeruso, the CAO, and the infrastructure chief, Steve Nelson, are looking at this as temporary pain, things that need to be done now, and looking at putting some things on the back burner. Mr. Steve Nelson says that some of these projects can be picked back up in 2028. Well, that means we got to get through 2026. It means we got to get through 2027. And it doesn't even mean that we'll actually be picked up in 2028, because that's when the next bond sale is scheduled. So the bond sale has to be in 2028, depending on when that is, and I do not know. You have to make the bond sale transaction, have that money flow, get it, and then put it in the right places. Some of the stuff we've been waiting for many, many years, Nelson said, and everybody knows that we've been waiting a long time for a number of projects. It's not as though nothing's been done in the last several years. Things have been done. But it's not like the city of New Orleans is getting this big, huge infusion of money to fix everything in 1 or 2 years. So just to name a few things from Sophie's story that you might want to be aware of. What are we talking about? $1 million cut for reducing pollution in municipal buildings. That's going to be delayed. Repairs for the Veteran Affairs Hospital. That's going to be delayed. The extension of the beautiful and wonderful Lafitte Greenway. That's going to be delayed. And quite a range of road work projects. Of course, we want to know more about that, but we'll find out probably in the coming days. And got to do what you got to do. Coming out of a deficit from last year, dealing with some tough choices earlier this year. And now with the bond commission basically sending a message, no, no, no. Some other choices have to be made, and those choices are being made now. All right, well, we are going to go to break in just a minute. I want to remind you that we are going to jump into a conversation about what is wrong with the state of Louisiana. Why, oh why, do we have to continue being ranked last of so many lists? And it's not just people's choices. This is research. We're going to be welcoming Doug Harris, the board chair, Tulane University, Brookings Institution, completer of this State of the Nation report. Quite a comprehensive study of these United States, including this one. Doesn't look good. But let's find out why and perhaps what can be done. All right, it's 7:20 a.m. I'm Will Sutton. This is the Good Morning Show. Thank you for tuning in. Send 702-468-10 or 18. We're going to break, and when we come back, we'll hear from Doug Harris about the state of the nation, state of Louisiana. That talk line number is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Climate Hope NOLA presents this month's climate keyword, adaptation. Climate adaptation means preparing our communities for stronger storms, hotter days, flooding, and rising water. That means planting trees, restoring wetlands, protecting homes, and helping families recover stronger after disasters. In New Orleans, resilience is part of who we are and how we survive. Learn more, stay informed, and take action with Climate Hope NOLA. Visit Team Hope NOLA on Instagram to learn more.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton. Losing a loved one is tough enough. Do you really want your family dealing with court battles and paperwork on top of it?
Whether you choose a will or a trust, think ahead. Take care of your family. Let them focus on healing instead of headaches. This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Greetings and salutations. I am Edward B. Coulon Smith, chairman of the board of the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. We'd like to invite you to tune in every Wednesday at 12 noon on WBOK to listen in on Black to Business and be a part of the movement that's going on. Thank you.
Lots of places can expose you to identity theft.
Oh no.
That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity, which is way more than anyone can do on their own. If we find anything suspicious, like new loans or changes to your financial accounts, we alert you right away, all through text, phone, email, or the LifeLock app. Get the alerts that could make all the difference. Save up to 30% with promo code NEWS at lifelock.com. Terms apply.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Slightly drier air remains in place. Highs reach 92 to 95, feeling like the upper 90s instead of the 100s due to that lower humidity. Mostly sunny skies expected with spotty showers later. Most of us stay dry. Overnight lows 73 to 79. Then for your Wednesday, highs 92 to 96. Spotty showers expected as well. Humidity ticks up for the second half of the week. For the WDSU First One.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and I am happy to be here. I hope you are happy to be wherever you are. It's wonderful to be on God's good earth and be able to listen and hear and see, walk, talk, whatever you've been able to do on this glorious hot and sunny day. The humidity is high. Temperatures are going up. We don't have extreme heat warnings, but it's hot out there and getting hotter by the minute. It's 7:26 a.m. Watch out for our babies and our kiddos. It's back to school time, folks. So folks are sending their kids off to school, taking them in their vehicles, sending them on the bus. Some kids are walking. Yeah, a few kids still walk. Not a lot, but a few of them still able to walk to school. And if you're driving a vehicle of every kind, scooter, motorcycle, sedan, SUV, big truck, please slow down, especially around those school zones. They really do mean 20 miles per hour, not 26, not 32, not officer hours slowing down. So watch out for them, watch out for yourself, watch out for the crazy drivers, and make sure everybody gets to where they are going. Look at 7:27 a.m. And as promised before the break, we're jumping into conversation about the state of the nation, and in particular, the state of Louisiana, and what the heck is going on with our state being at the bottom of yet another list. But this is not just another list, because there are a bunch of lists out there. We make last of this or next to last of that, and you look at it and it's like, well, those measurements surely put us last, but they're not deep. Well, this one is. And with us today is Doug Harris, board chair, Tulane University, Brookings Institute, leader of this study that took quite a bit of time. Good morning, Mr. Harris. How are you, sir? All right. Welcome. Well, when's the last time you've been at WBOK?
A year or two. I can't remember the last report. One of our education reports.
Okay. All right. Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since it's been a year or two, let's make sure that people know a little something about who you are, other than what I've already told them. So, who's your mama now? Where you come from?
From Michigan originally. Been here for 14 years. Love Louisiana. Love New Orleans. Been at Tulane that whole time, and really love being there. Raised my second child here. She's still here. She's now a student at Tulane.
Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's get a little background about this quite comprehensive report. Who are these people behind the report? Because at WBOK, we get reports about surveys and polling. It's like, well, they didn't talk to me.
Right.
And who are these people and what are their credentials?
Yeah.
Who are these people?
Yeah.
What are their credentials?
It's an unusual group. So it's a bipartisan group. So we have a board that has advisors to the last 5 U.S. presidents up through Trump, back to Clinton. We've got historian, a pediatrician, economists, sociologists, psychologists, people with all sorts of different backgrounds, and left, right, and center. So it's unusual to have that kind of bipartisanship and wide range of perspectives these days. And really just a really good-hearted group of people that wanted to better understand and try to push the country forward.
So did you decide to do this?
Yeah, I had the idea.
Who decided to even take on such a gargantuan project?
I had the idea. So really just motivated by everything that's happening in the world. I mean, I think everybody instinctively knows what that is. All the pessimism and the distrust and what's happening in our politics. So just trying to better understand that and to try to put out some information there that, again, in a bipartisan way, that would help us have some hard data to understand where we're doing poorly, which I think that's where all the focus is right now, but also where we're doing well.
So just a little bit more time on the WHO. How did you go about deciding who would be a part of this bipartisan group with so much experience, very different experiences?
Yeah, it's a tricky group. I mean, so you want the group as a whole to have that wide variation, but then looking for people who can talk to each other, right? That was the other key thing. So obviously, it's going to be a really wide-ranging group. People have different perspectives. You got to be able to talk to not just your tribe and be able to talk to other people. And so I knew some of these folks beforehand, so I had an idea where to go, and then asked them for ideas. And that actually took almost a year just to assemble the group to find a group that we thought would work for this, or that could work.
And the group total, how many people?
I think we're at 13 right now. It changes a little bit, month to month. We got some really busy people in this group, so some people have had to step down into advisory roles and that sort of thing.
All right. What kind of gender diversity, race, ethnic diversity? Anybody from outside of the United States, or?
Let's see. I think everybody lives in the United States. We've got white, black, Jewish,
gender,
men, women. Pretty wide-ranging group in that all those respects too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So methodology. Before we get to some of this other stuff,
we spent,
because that's always a concern for folks. Is like, well, you can make it say whatever you want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, so we spent. I mean, with okay. So let me say one other thing about the WHO. It wasn't just this board. So the other thing that we did was to poll the American people on these measures. So the board voted, and we said, okay, well, you have to get 75% support. 75% of the board had to agree to get a measure on there. But we're going to put the same vote to 1,000 Americans again across the spectrum, see what they think. So we also did that. There wasn't total overlap. There were probably about 2/3 overlap between what the board said and what the average voter said. That was another important piece. We didn't want it to just be a bunch of experts. That's kind of, I think, why you're asking the question, like, who are these people? It wasn't just us, and so we took into account what the American people said about what they thought the most important measures were too. So I think that's important. And then then we spent a lot of time just talking about the measures, even the topics. So how do you even figure out what topics to measure first, and then what measures within those topics? We ended up 14 topics, and then we voted, and then that's what guided it. So these are not my measures per se. I got outvoted on some things. Other people got outvoted on other measures, and we just went with the vote.
Okay, so you came up with the measures. What were some of the more challenging measures where you had to spend more time talking about whether it was an appropriate measure or not?
Yeah, there were some. Most of the measures had pretty broad support. They didn't have as much of a kind of ideological tinge to them as other. The ones I think that were most controversial. One was the percentage of children growing up with single parent, and greenhouse gas emissions. I would say those are the two that that cut a little bit more along political ideological lines, but that made it in anyway, which means that you had at least some support at either end of the spectrum to put them in there.
So what was the issue with whether to include single parent as a measure? Because, of course, in our nation, things have changed pretty dramatically. We don't have the number of people getting married as we used to. And then they have marriages that aren't lasting as long as they once did. And so there are more people who are single and more single parents.
Yeah. Well, I think that's part of the reason why it was controversial, because it's relatively common now to have a single parent. And so I think people thought, well, it's relatively common, then maybe we shouldn't worry about it. And I think another concern was that you've got people say, well, if parents aren't happy, if we have one spouse is mistreating another spouse, then it's good that they split up, and maybe better for everybody in the long run. But I still think the resources that it takes and the time and energy. I've raised kids, and with my wife, and trying to do that's really really difficult job. Trying to do it by yourself is a really hard thing to do. So I think we still came down on the side of it's just, raising kids is really difficult, and having two parents is better if you can do it.
Well, you have a number of categories that I found interesting, and some of them were frankly shocking to me. But I found it fascinating that you include volunteerism as one of the measures for how well a state is doing. I expected things like child mortality or education, but volunteerism. How did that make the list?
I think a couple of different reasons. I think one is it's kind of a signal of how people are tied to their communities, whether they feel a part of their communities. And so, if you feel part of your community, one of the things you do is you want to help it. And in the United States, especially, volunteering is one of the ways you contribute back and give back to the community. And then the second reason is simply the way in which that helps the community. So one is it's like a signal of how we think about ourselves and how we think about our communities, but then it's also a contributor to improving communities. So if there's more volunteerism, then the community itself is better as a result of that. So I think those are the two ways to think about it.
Well, another category I found interesting because, hearing that this was a bipartisan group, looking at the group, Googling some of the people in the group, the way some of the categories are labeled, and it's like, well, because you have word choice, word summaries, of course, you go deeper in it. But you chose to name one category, trust in science.
That's a
Trust in science. We're the bipartisan group with a range of ideas of what science is or isn't, and which parts of science. How'd you come to conclude, first of all, to include a science category, a trust in science category, and have that as a measure that people agreed to use?
Well, the larger category is trust. Trust really in institutions. There's also a trust in people, right? So there's a separate trust in your neighbors kind of measure. But then there's a whole series of trust in institutions, trust in the federal government, trust in science. We have, what else in there? Trust in courts. And so on. So lots of different trust measures. And there the thinking is if we don't trust each other, if we don't trust our institutions, if you think about what that's going to mean for us in the long term, it means we're in trouble because if we don't trust all of these key institutions, these institutions are really important. If they're not doing their jobs, if we don't believe they're doing their jobs, then that doesn't bode well for the long term. Science came in, I think, in particular in recent years because of COVID. That's where it really started to kind of shoot up in its prominence, and people really started to pay more attention to that during COVID. So it's one of the reasons why that ended up in there.
And then you had another trust category, trust in other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my! I mean, because that's a lot. I mean, just in our own families, kind of different levels of trust. Not kind of getting along and going in and out the door and eating meals, but trust.
Yeah. No, I think we want to believe that the people around you are being honest and that they're going to do the right thing. They're watching out for you. And again, if you don't believe that, if that kind of trust is breaking down, not even just in trust in the federal government. The federal government's far away. It's in Washington. It's kind of abstract. But trust in your neighbor, there's nothing abstract about that. If you don't trust your neighbor, then you've got a real problem.
Well, I appreciated the finding that when you looked at the percent of states improving in some of the categories, I was glad to see child mortality because it's like it's such a problem. But your research indicates that we're doing better as a nation.
Yep.
Am I reading that right?
Absolutely. Yeah, things are getting better. We're not internationally. We don't do really well on that measure, but a lot of really what we're interested in is the trend line. We want to get better. That's the point of the project is to try to push the country to get better on these things. So the trend line is really more important to us than any of the rankings or how many countries were outperforming on the measure.
and average years of education. We're getting better as a nation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly we're having all kinds of debates in local communities, school districts, states, federal government. Haven't need a Department of Education. We don't need a Department of Education in the state. We want vouchers. We want charters. We want public schools. Where do we spend the public's money?
Yeah.
But overall, you're finding that whatever we're doing as a nation, we're getting better.
On years of education, definitely better. Test scores, we've always been a little bit more middle of the pack, a little bit above average globally. And the last 10 years or so, unfortunately, on the test score side of this, there's been a national decline. This started before COVID. There was obviously a COVID decline, but even before that, around 2015, test scores nationally started to decline. There's still debate about why. The devices and social media are part of that conversation. That's the one that comes up most. The perspectives on school accountability is another topic that comes up. But years of education, that's where you started. That's one where we've always done pretty well. Globally, we're toward the top on that one, and still continuing to.
And I think this one kind of cuts both ways. You tell me if I'm wrong, but life expectancy. So that seems to indicate that we're doing better with health, even though, of course, in Louisiana we have an obesity problem.
Yeah.
But if we're doing better, that seems to indicate that we're getting healthier as a nation. People are living longer. But, of course, if you're living longer, there's more care involved as we live longer.
Absolutely. Life expectancy is improving. It's not, however, improving as fast as in other countries. So the other thing we did in the analysis is not to just see whether our trend line is positive or is it getting better, but are we getting better as fast as other places? And life expectancy is one where we've been improving pretty slowly. In fact, there was a time even before COVID that life expectancy declined briefly for probably the first time outside of wartime in American history, which was really worrisome. That this had a lot to do with the opioids and the overdoses. That we've gotten a little bit of a handle on that problem now, but life expectancy is improving more slowly than in other countries, even though it's improving in the U.S. So that's not a great positive story for us. Despite all of what we spend on healthcare, it doesn't seem to translate very well into how long we live.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the areas where we're not doing so well as a nation. So let's go further down, closer to the bottom of the list with fatal overdoses. No improvement? I mean, am I reading this right? On a scale of 0 to 100%, with percentage of states improving, that there's no improvement or little improvement?
So you're talking about nationally, or you're talking
nationally?
Okay, so nationally we are worst in the world, at least in terms of what we can measure on fatal overdoses. A lot of that has to do with the availability of the measures, or availability, of drugs. So they're just much more accessible in the United States. So yeah, we do very poorly on that, and it has been getting worse. The trend line, by the way, is going back to 1990. So anytime I say it's getting worse, it's over a long period of time.
Yeah.
And the reason we did that is we didn't want to just look at short-term cycles. So things jump up and down from year to year, but we really want to focus on fundamentally what direction are we headed in. So we went back 35 years. And yes, that one's getting worse. Also in the mental health category, depression and anxiety getting worse, suicide rates getting worse, and on all those measures, we were bad to begin with. So it wasn't like we were doing really well and we're backsliding a little bit. We were already doing really badly on a global scale, and it's still worsening on those.
So when you look at these things together, life satisfaction, youth depression, social isolation, fatal overdoses, adult depression, it's pretty depressing.
It is. It is.
That we're not making enough improvement to even get a short green bar, which is the indicator from 0 to 100.
Yeah. I mean, so one way to break these measures down isn't by the topic, but by the way we collected it. So some of the measures are asking people how they feel about things. And so the trust measures, that's a survey measure. Life satisfaction is a survey measure. Depression is a survey measure. all of those measures are going in the wrong direction. So we've got some measures you might call objective measures, like the economic measures that we're doing better on. But almost any question that you look at right now, that we're asking people something about their lives, they say it's getting worse, no matter what the question is. So you mentioned, you listed them: life satisfaction, depression, anxiety, all those things, trust, social isolation. They're all getting worse at the same time, and that's really worrisome. And when we did it at the state level, we found essentially that no states were improving on any of those measures. So it wasn't like there were some states that are doing well on this and some states that aren't. We're all getting worse on those measures, and it is really worrisome.
All right, so am I extrapolating too much to say we're living longer and we're becoming more sad about the life that we're living?
Yeah, no, it's not an exaggeration, unfortunately. We're living longer, but not as well.
Not as being satisfied.
Yeah, no,
wow,
it's really
wow.
a concern.
Okay, well, we're going to take a break now. We're in conversation about the state of the nation and the state of the states with Doug Harris, board chair of this here report. He's at Tulane University and with the Brookings Institution and with this phenomenal group of bipartisan folks who pulled together this research. And when we come back after the break, let's talk a little bit about our very own state, Louisiana, and how the heck we got to the bottom of this list. Yet another list. All right. Talk line number is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Real issues, real talk, real solutions. Miss an episode of The Reality Check? You can catch every episode anytime. Search WBOK Media on your favorite podcast app to tap the bold commentary, real-time reactions, and powerful perspectives from the people and leaders shaping our city. Download, share, and rate it 5 stars because the real ones always stay informed.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another open enrollment update. Who do I have on the line today?
Hi, you're speaking with Vanessa Scott of BSG of Louisiana.
Can you tell us a little bit about what is open enrollment?
The open enrollment period is for Medicare members that want to change from one plan to another.
Why is open enrollment so important?
Because a lot of people missed out on the annual enrollment period, so they need to have a one-on-one review.
And if you have questions or concerns about your Medicare plans, what should you do?
You just pick up the phone, call 504-621-3687. We even come out to your house. Zero cost to them.
Get with BSG of Louisiana for your Medicare review.
For church groups, senior communities, or disability organizations, call 504-621-3687. We are an independent insurance agency providing information about Medicare-related insurance plans. We are not connected or endorsed by Medicare or the U.S. government.
Protect your community. Build your future. Looking for more than just a job? The Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East is hiring. Join the Flood Protection Authority on Tuesday, August 4th and Wednesday, August 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 6920 Franklin Avenue in New Orleans for a 2-day career fair. Meet hiring managers, interview for over 50 immediate openings, and discover a rewarding career protecting more than 1 million residents across Southeast Louisiana. Bring your resume and come dressed for success. Visit floodauthority.org for more information.
The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana companies through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about what the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation does, please visit www.jazzandheritage.org.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton, and we're in conversation about the State of the States report, State of the Nation report with Doug Harrison. We were talking about the nation. Let's jump into Louisiana.
All right.
Why are we so bad that we're at the bottom of this list? First of all, you were telling me off air a little earlier. How many pages is this report?
Well, so every state has its own report, and there are 31 measures for every state, and we report each one of those 3 different ways. So it's I think 3,700 pages in total. 'Cause every
3,700 pages.
Yeah.
So this is pretty much quite a depth look.
Yeah.
So this is not just any old list that
Correct.
we're at the bottom of.
Correct.
All right, Louisiana.
Yeah. Well, the why question is a harder one to answer, but we can talk about like where are we doing well and where are we not doing well, which is really where we want the attention to be. We didn't want this to be yet just another ranking and have people celebrate or bemoan kind of where they end up. We're really interested in trend lines and trying to look for areas of strength that we can continue and look for areas where we're not doing well. So starting off with where Louisiana is actually doing pretty well. Actually, all those mental health measures that we mentioned, Louisiana does relatively well on those kind of middle of the pack in the country. Life satisfaction in Louisiana, we're ranked 18th, which is much higher than.
So we enjoy our food and our culture.
It's right. No, I think it does reflect those kinds of things. That we do well there. Suicide rate also middle of the pack, but obviously a lot of other measures stand up last overall. A lot of other measures are not doing well, not heading in the right direction necessarily either. Some of the measures like education, we don't do well overall, but we're improving. So test scores have been a lot of attention to the test score improvement. That's real. Years of education also improving. So that's all good news. The violence has been high in Louisiana as a state for a long time, and that continues to be the case. The murder rate has actually been improving. That's one of the I think most misunderstood trends nationally as well as in Louisiana. Is that while we are overall high violence state, since 1990 those numbers have gotten a lot better, and so I think there's a perception that crime is kind of skyrocketing and so on. I think it's a function of social media and the media in general, kind of really focusing on and showing these videos of all the awful things. And there are a lot of awful things that still happen, but actually a lot less than what used to happen. So there's improvement there. Work and labor force, we don't do very well. Labor force participation's pretty low. Long-term unemployment's high. Earnings growth has been low, unfortunately. So not a lot of income growth, not a lot of wage growth, unfortunately, in the state right now. Inequality's also relatively high, so we don't want to just look at averages, but how things get distributed, who's benefiting. So we're near the bottom on both income inequality and poverty. Income inequality has been stable, so it hasn't been getting worse. But nationally, income inequality has been getting worse. So I guess that's a little bit of a victory to not be getting worse in Louisiana on that, even though it's worsening in other places. But the poverty rate increasing, that's more of a concern because the poverty rate's actually been declining nationally in the last 35 years.
So when we look at measures with low birth weight, look at children living with single parents, that one in particular, if I'm reading this right, we're at more than 40% versus a national average of about 30%. And I know I'm pulling these out on you, but in generally, we have more single parents in Louisiana than a lot of other states. Is that right?
That's right. That's right. Well, and then just about any other state, we're ranked 50th on that measure out of 51. We included D.C., so they're 51 in this ranking.
Right. Do you have any indicators about personal choice or other factors that might lead to that particular measurement?
No, not entirely clear. It's related to poverty measures, and so being high on poverty, you're more likely to end up with more. And those two things are connected, since how we define poverty is based partly on whether you have kids in the household and whether you have enough resources to bring to them. So those two measures end up being interconnected to each other.
Okay. So are we doing well in anything?
Like I said, life satisfaction, that's where I would say, do best of these measures, ranked 18th, although that's declining, right? So I think we said at the beginning of the show that life satisfaction nationally has been getting worse. Every state's getting worse. It's really a question of how fast we're getting worse right now on that measure. That's that's a really worrisome one. That's the one I think is, in some ways, the most important of all these measures, because it's a combination of all these things. Everything else in there is captured in how we feel about our lives. So I keep coming back to life satisfaction. So again, good that we rank relatively high, but bad that essentially every state, including Louisiana, is getting worse on it.
So one of the things across the nation is the whole urban, rural, suburban differences, whether you're in Utah or New Hampshire, Illinois, Georgia, Texas, Florida, or Louisiana. As a nation, what kind of differences did you see with those kind of geographic differences?
So we didn't look at geography within states. So we didn't do urban, rural, for example. But there are states that are primarily rural and states that are primarily urban. So you can look at it that way. We look at the regions that are doing well. Up the upper Midwest, like Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Iowa, that area was highest ranked. A little bit more kind of in the middle section of the country actually does pretty well. The South ends up at the bottom, which I wasn't sure that would happen or not. So the South does come in at the bottom, and then you've got, those are mostly rural areas, not as much big city driven. Then you've got the coast where they tend to be more urban. So California, Massachusetts, New York, states like that are middle of the pack. Northeast was, I think, ranked second of the regions. California ends up being middle of the pack.
So, in our very own Louisiana, it's been said recently that New Orleans thinks it's so special. So, when it comes, I realize these measurements were by state,
right?
But when we look at a state like Louisiana, and we look at the city of New Orleans, how different would Louisiana look without New Orleans?
In these measures?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'm not sure on these measures that it would look very different, which isn't to say that New Orleans is like the rest of the state. New Orleans is very different from the rest of the state. And most states have a large urban center, surrounded by more suburbs and rural areas. That's not unusual. And the conflict that you're alluding to, I think, right, what's happening right now, that's also not unusual. The urban-rural conflict politically is that goes back centuries, not an uncommon thing. On the measures, though, and again, it would be pure speculation because we have no way to measure most of these things at the city level. I'm not sure that they would look very different. You think about life satisfaction in New Orleans versus the rest of the state. I suspect life satisfaction is reasonably high in both parts, all parts of the state. The low standing violence is not just a New Orleans thing, even though I think there's a perception of that. So I don't think it would look very different.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your getting up and coming on over here to share some more specifics about the State of the Nation, State of the States report for 2026. Do you plan to do another report like this? It's taken so much time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. First of all, I should say, look at the website. I mentioned it's 3,700 pages, but the whole thing's boiled down to a single page. You can see all the Louisiana results just at a glance if you go to the website. Just search on State of the Nation project. But the plan is to do another report every year. We'll do State of the Nation for 2027, so we'll go back to comparing the U.S. as a whole to other countries next year, and then in 2028 we'll do another State of the States, get updated data so we can see the most recent trends as well as the long-term trends.
All right. Stateofthenation.org, folks. Take a look if you're interested in our very own state or other states where you used to live or where relatives live. See how they rank. And, of course, number one was which one?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah. Number one in the nation. All right. Let's strive to get at least in the top 50. All right. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Will.
Appreciate it. Folks, it's the top of the hour in just a minute. After the break, we're going to move into a conversation about community food. And then you're going to want to stay tuned for that. Look, the talk line number is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 AM. What New Orleans is talking about all day. day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Mike Island with BIN News Now. An arson suspect linked to one of the massive wildfires threatening Spokane, Washington, is in court today. Aaron Farinacci was arrested by a SWAT team yesterday after a witness said he saw him acting suspiciously near where one of the fires started on Saturday. The 37-year-old is a Spokane resident, and he's being held on a $1 million bond. It is dangerously hot in the Southwest. Extreme heat warnings are in effect for parts of Arizona, California, Nevada, and Utah. Phoenix could see temperatures between 109 and 116 degrees today. President Trump says ExxonMobil and Chevron are making too much money. The president says the country's two largest oil companies were taking in too much money based on a shortage, and that they ought to give some of that windfall back to the public. Trump says he's a big free enterprise guy, but he's not happy about the situation. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the free iHeartRadio app.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. It is 8:02 a.m. It is bright and sunny outside. We've got a wonderful, beautiful, sunny day for much of the morning. There will be some clouds coming along as the temperatures increase and as that humidity increases. Please dress accordingly and drink plenty of fluids, i.e. water. So I'm not talking about the alcohol and beer and, those kinds of things. So maybe some of that hydrate kind of thing and good old H2O so you can be hydrated throughout the day. Look, before the break, I promised you that we would talk about food, and not just food. We're talking about Community Cooks of the Irish Channel. And so I'm happy to have with us today Sherry Myers.
Good morning.
How are you?
Boy, I love that bell. Yes. Hello.
Yeah. Happy to see you.
Thank
to see you. You have such a cheery personality. I mean, I could see it even though you were like standing out there. I was like, wow, look at her. I could feel it. It was wonderful.
It's such a great opportunity to come to you and to talk about what we've been doing in the Irish Channel with the Community Cooks, because we've created a template, a system that I think is replicable anywhere. Anywhere where people want to feed their neighbors.
Good. Yeah. Well, Sherry, you haven't been to WBOK before, right?
No, I have not.
So I'm glad that you're here. I gave you a little bit of an introduction, but when we have fresh faces at WBOK, we like to give our WBOK family of listeners a little bit more insight into these folks. Yeah. So, who are your mama and them? Where are you from?
I'm sorry, they're just so charming. I grew up in Ohio. I'm 4 kids in our family. My dad was taught at the Ohio Wesleyan, and he was also a soccer coach and a lacrosse coach, and my mom was a teacher. And we were, from the very early age, always had extra people around our table. If a kid came to the door around dinner time, they sat at the table. If a player needed to see my dad, he came over, had dinner at the table with us. So feeding people has always been important. Aside from that, though, I am a writer, a screenwriter, and a producer.
Wow. How long you been doing that?
A long time.
A long time.
We moved here from Los Angeles, my husband and I. Moved here for the movie business. And golly, in 2010, we've been here 15 years.
Okay. You like us, huh?
I love this. I love this city. the more longer I'm here and the more work I do with community cooks, the more I just fall in love with everybody who's here and with, our mission.
So with this other part of your life, screenwriting and all, do you focus on particular genres or whatever comes along? How's that work?
We have a film called Angel Lady, and it is what we're going to call a faith-adjacent film. It's about a mom who is a single mom, just got out of prison for being a card sharp, and she's relocated to the border in Texas and can't make ends meet, so she cheats the locals at cards until this glitch appears on her TV set, and this little glitch the neighbors deem is an angel, and so everybody swarms to her trailer to pray to the angel.
Yeah.
She never believes it's an angel until
But others do.
Others completely do, and miracles happen until she has a crisis in her life and has to ask for help.
Yeah.
And then cool things happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what's your connection to food? I hear something happened at home.
Right.
With food and family and visitors. Was that kind of the launching pad for you with food, or did something else happen after that?
Well, I worked as an actress in New York. I worked in all kinds of restaurants constantly. And so food, I was always kind of in that food business. But this piece of it, the food and really cooking and organizing. See, I in my job in Los Angeles was an organizer. I was an volunteer organizer for congressional campaigns. And I learned how to work with people and to get people to do things for free. I mean, how to organize your volunteers, make everybody feel good and move everybody forward and doing things all the small things and the large things that have to happen with campaigns. So that kind of organizing drive in me manifested here when we started feeding the fridges during the lockdown. When the hospitality industry went bottom up and people were starving, literally, and didn't have any resources. I had just come back from the East Coast where my mom died during the lockdown. And my mother was someone, again, who always fed people. And she always would say, "Did you get enough to eat?"
Not just here's some food. Did you have enough?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And one of my most poignant recollections was there she was near the end on oxygen, and we're watching all of those SUVs, all those cars line up to get their bag of groceries during the lockdown, and people were so scared and desperate. And my mother, with all this empathy, looks at this line of cars and says, "Well, what happens when they run out of food?" And she grew up during the Depression. She understood what it could be, how it could be. So that motivated me to go start cooking for the fridges. And we started, a friend of ours, Mike Boyle, great fundraiser for the World War II Museum, said, "Hey, how about making some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches to put in the fridge?" So my husband and I did, and we started with just a bunch of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and then we discovered some of our neighbors were also feeding the same fridge. And we decided to pool our supplies and our resources. And then we started, it was like 6 cooks, 7 cooks. We pooled our resources, and then we started getting donations from Culture Aid in New Orleans. And Culture Aid would give us the stuff, the bulk items they couldn't put in the individual bags, like 50 pounds of frozen chicken.
Whoa.
Yeah, no kidding. 4 crates of asparagus, all these things that these come to the back of my house, which we call the hub. At that point, we only had 1 extra fridge, but we would look at this array of amazing food, and we'd go, "Okay, what are we going to cook?" So we'd take the stuff home, put it in these great big restaurant-sized pans. I mean, they're big, and which have like 20, 25 servings. And then we put it in containers and take turns feeding the fridge.
Yeah. All right. So when you say community cooks of the Irish Channel, is everyone associated with this a cook?
absolutely
Or do
not.
they have other roles?
Well, I think the reason why it works, our organization works, is because everybody has something to do that's really, it's really what their talent is or what their interest is. We have cooks, we have servers, we have drivers, we have donors. We have someone who goes to a certain bakery and picks up the extra baked goods that are donated every week. We have someone who comes and just helps us to set up in the morning. So when the servers come and we to put things into containers, there's about 7 different kinds of jobs. And there's 200 people on our private Facebook page now. Wow. And out of that 250 people have something to do. Yeah.
So is this a weekly operation, daily
sure
operation?
For me, it's daily.
Okay. So
but
what does it look like?
Okay. What it looks like is once a week, we send one of our, actually, I should add this, we have a shopper. So we send a shopper to Restaurant Depot with our list and our list of supplies. And it doesn't, right at this point, it doesn't change. We do red beans on Monday. We do pasta on Thursday. So he or she brings back this massive amount of food. Now we have 3 refrigerators behind my house at the hub. So we stash all that, and then Monday, the team comes at 8:30 in the morning, and they take a position at our tables, and the pans start arriving, the red bean pans and the rice pans. So we have 10 pans of massive pans of red beans, 10 pans of rice, and these goodies from this local bakery that I can't mention, but they're incredibly good. All of that goes into containers. We write on the top. Oh, can I show you?
Absolutely, please.
This says free. So, and then on here, this part says pasta, or it will say red beans. So this is and we heap the food on here. This should be enough for 2 meals, and then it goes into crates, black crates. These crates get loaded into the back of Adolph's car. He's our delivery guy. He goes to 3 of the neighborhood refrigerators, 3 refrigerators that border the Irish Channel. And he gets there at the same time every Monday and at the same time every Thursday. So if you're hungry and through the Community Cooks or through the Community Fridge page on Facebook, if you are following that, then you know to be there and you'll eat that day. So that's Monday, and then Wednesday is the shopping. Thursday we do it all over again. We dish out pasta, set up the kits for the red beans. So it's always circling through.
Wow. Well, you certainly know your volunteers. Do you know who the people are who are getting the food?
Yeah, and I'm going to tell a tale on myself.
Okay.
When I moved to New Orleans, I was nervous about guys on bikes. There's a lot in the neighborhoods that we were going into. I was nervous. But when we started dropping at the fridges, the beauty of it is that you get a moment with someone who's coming up who hasn't eaten that day, who's collecting meals for themselves or their mama or their kids, and you get a little bit of interaction. So we know who our neighbors are at these fridges, pretty much.
Okay. So do you have like regular, what do you call them? Customers, patients?
Neighbors. These are all our hungry neighbors.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay. And what are some of the typical things that you view as here's a success story?
Okay. Well, the success story is that we have been doing this. We've grown from this initial group of just 6 cooks on a private Facebook message chat room. Now we're a private page where we have over 200, maybe 250 people. That the success means that we have people who cycle in and people who cycle out depending on their work, depending on their life, depending on their people they have to take care of at home. So we don't stop. We haven't stopped in the rain. We didn't stop in the flooding. We haven't stopped in terrible weather. We are consistent, and we are almost self-financed because we have a Venmo page where people can contribute, and I've managed to bludgeon enough people into contributing like $10 or $20 a month, and that can add up to what our expenses are. Because I mean, we're making 400 meals a week for about $400.
Wow.
That's pretty successful.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Boy,
Thank you.
I think you might want to share that shopping list. How do you make that stretch?
I would be happy. You know, well, red beans
That's
is great.
really, yeah, but that's really good, though.
Thank you. We have people from all over the country who contribute. I have people from my high school who buy the containers and send them to my house, to the hub. So we have people who are engaged and friends who are engaged. So I would say that's our success story, is that we can keep going and we get more people.
Wow. That's a lot of good work.
Thank you.
That's a lot of good work. It sounds like you got a good group of people working with you. Yeah. What if somebody out there says, I want to be a part of this? Obviously, they might say, well, I'm going to give $10 a month. But is it okay for somebody to say, I want to come and help?
Oh, gosh.
I'm not a cook, but I'd like to help.
Oh. Helping is the most fun part, because when the servers get to the hub at 8:30 in the morning and the baked goodies have come in and people, we're a family now. And we've been doing this for over a year, and people drop in and everyone is so warm and welcoming. So what we do is that we ask people to go to the Community Cooks of the Irish Channel page on Facebook and ask to join. Few membership questions, which is, where do you live and what do you like to do? And then usually, unless you belong, you're in. And then we start drilling down into, what's your schedule? What do you like to do? Where could we fit you in, and where could you fit us in? And nobody does too much.
Wow.
Everybody can do something. And it really is, it's just great. It's great to serve. It's great to put together the kits, shop, drive, pick up groceries, pick up donations. There's always something to do.
Well, wonderful. Well, we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, I want to talk some more about what this looks like, because what a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
Perhaps some other people might want to follow your lead.
Yeah, we want that.
Let's talk about that. It is 8:18 a.m. I'm in conversation with Sherry Myers from Community Cooks of the Irish Channel. What a wonderful idea. They've been going for about a year, feeding about 400 folks a week with $400. That's amazing. That's really amazing. All right, folks. The talk line is 504-582-9422. Perhaps you want to ask how you can do this. 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 a.m. What New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good Tuesday morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Kubel, and here are your headlines for you today. An urgent search is underway for a man who escaped Border Patrol custody. Agents are looking for 31-year-old Elvin Martinez. Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office deputies believe that he may be in the woods near the St. Tammany Parish line, so if you see him, call 911. New Orleans police are investigating after a man was doused with a flammable liquid and set on fire. The NOPD says that this happened last night on North Roman and Pauger Streets. Officers say they found the man suffering from burns to his arms and to his legs. We are working to learn more about a suspect. And there is a big celebration getting underway for MSY's namesake, Louis Armstrong, on his 125th birthday. Live musical performances will take place to honor the great jazz musician. The fun kicks off at 11 a.m. That's a look for you at your Tuesday headlines.
Trying to grow your business or increase traffic to your location? We can help. WBOK 1230 AM has a number of solutions that will meet your individual needs. Give one of our consultants a call today at 504-582-9420 or email us at info@wbok1230.com. And remember, an investment with WBOK is an investment in our community. Call today.
This summer, the place to be is downtown. From incredible restaurants and shopping to retail, wellness, and so much more. Enjoy special offers and discounts from participating downtown businesses all season long. Brought to you by the Downtown Development District. Whether it's after work, date night, or weekend fun, there's always something happening downtown. Plan your next outing at participating locations like Coppervine, Mother's, the Audubon Aquarium, and Riverwalk Outlets. Visit downtownnola.com. Summer starts here.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Protect your community. Build your future. Looking for more than just a job? The Southeast Louisiana Flood Protection Authority East is hiring. Join the Flood Protection Authority on Tuesday, August 4th and Wednesday, August 5th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 6920 Franklin Avenue in New Orleans for a 2-day career fair. Meet hiring managers, interview for over 50 immediate openings, and discover a rewarding career protecting more than 1 million residents across Southeast Louisiana. Bring your resume and come dressed for success. Visit floodauthority.org for more information.
Climate Hope NOLA presents this month's climate keyword, adaptation. Climate adaptation means preparing our communities for stronger storms, hotter days, flooding, and rising water. That means planting trees, restoring wetlands, protecting homes, and helping families recover stronger after disasters. In New Orleans, resilience is part of who we are and how we survive. Learn more, stay informed, and take action with Climate Hope NOLA. Visit Team Hope NOLA on Instagram to learn more.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Slightly drier air remains in place. Highs reach 92 to 95, feeling like the upper 90s instead of the 100s due to that lower humidity. Mostly sunny skies expected with spotty showers later. Most of us stay dry. Overnight lows 73 to 79. Then for your Wednesday, highs 92 to 96. Spotty showers expected as well. Humidity ticks up for the second half of the week. For the WDSU First Morning.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. It's 8:23 a.m. My name is Will Sutton. I'm here in conversation with my new friend, Sherry Myers, talking about the community cooks of the Irish Channel. Let me just remind you that babies and kiddos are starting to return to school. So please, please, please watch out for them. As you go about your business, they are moving from the Nord parks and playgrounds and swimming pools and backyards and front yards and streets and driveways to a more orderly place called school. But that doesn't mean they are orderly and paying attention. So please watch out for the babies and kiddos. Make sure that they are getting to where they need to get so they can get that education. Make sure you get to where you are going by taking care of your personal care items at home. Ladies, you can do that makeup at home. Gentlemen, you can handle that mustache trimming at home, not in the car and on your way to your doctor's appointment for work. Watch out for the crazy drivers, and don't be one of those folks. And you'll get where you're going and have a good day. 8:24 a.m. You got 6 minutes to get there if you got to be there at 8:30. Let's get back to conversation with Sherry Myers from Community Cooks of the Irish Channel. We were talking about this wonderful thing that you all have been doing for about a year. Incredible organization to do all this from your house. Oh my goodness!
Back of the house.
Well,
yeah,
it's
well.
still your house. It's still your house.
I was blessed.
Yeah.
I do have. I really do want to share this piece of it.
Please.
My house is in the Irish Channel. It
Yeah.
is over 100 years old. It was the headmaster's house, located next to the first public school, McDonough School.
No way.
Yeah, yeah. So my friend Sarah bought this house, moved here first. We had been activists together in Los Angeles. She came into some money. She moved to Asheville. And I moved into her house, and we were renting her house, my husband and I. And he's in the film business, and he was working on a show and suddenly lost the sight in his right eye. Had a detached retina, and then it was infected. And it was a crisis. And all of a sudden, there was like, it was crazy, scary. And my friend Sarah called up, and she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "We're doing okay." And she said, "I'm thinking of selling the house." And I said, "Oh my gosh." And I'm going, "Oh my God, we're going to have to move. Where are we going to? Oh my gosh." And she said, "Well, I'd like to, would you like to buy the house?" And I thought to myself, well, yeah, in my dreams. And I said,
Yeah, right.
"Yeah, I would love to buy the house." And she said, "Okay, I'm going to sell the house." And I said, "Well," she said, "You want to buy the house?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to put me on the list." And I'm thinking, "Oh my God, this is the worst news possible."
Right.
And she said, "I'm going to sell you the house for $10.
No way.
Yes. My friend Sarah Rath, from my Los Angeles friend, sold me my house in the Irish Channel for $10. So from that point forward, well, you can imagine my whole world is about paying it forward, isn't it? So the back of my house has a very deep yard, which is where we have the table set up, we have the fridges set up, we have the storage set up, and people have a key to the gate and they come and go. Wow. I have to.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the possibility of replicating this idea.
Yeah,
So let's start with somebody's listening. They love this concept, and they're scared to death. They're like, how could I possibly do anything like this? So we're not talking about somebody far away in another state. There's somebody in New Orleans East.
Yes.
There's somebody in Gentilly.
Yes.
There's somebody in Mid-City.
Yeah.
It's like, I think we can do this, but I only have one refrigerator, the one I use.
Yeah.
And I don't have a big house. Right. And I know people at work, and I know people at church, and I know some of my neighbors, but I'm not sure they would want to do this. So what do they do?
I think the first thing to find is a community fridge, because the community fridge is the distribution point. Now, if you don't have a community fridge in your neighborhood, you can find a church, find somewhere where you can distribute, where people can come up and get the meal, and it's no barrier. But you don't have to flash your ID. You don't have to show any proof of anything. That's what you find first, is you find where are you going to put these meals. And then you think about, well, who else might be supplying this fridge? You got to get the fridge first. Then you look around and you go, okay, well, who's interested in cooking? Who is able to put in some supplies? And connect with them. And connect with them on your neighborhood Facebook page. We are the Irish Channel, a neighborhood page. Oh my gosh, everything has come from that in terms of organizing into the community cooks of the Irish Channel. Find the people in your neighborhood who care about feeding their neighbors who can cook. And then, it can be two people. And then start to figure out, how can we share supplies? Who do you know? Where can we get donations? Or do we have friends? Can we set up a Venmo account or some account where people can donate? Maybe people could just give you cash, lay off. But get the word out that we are organizing to feed this fridge once a week. or once every other week, just to get started and get and as soon as you get started, people will find you. But don't forget to keep broadcasting. This is what we're doing. We're feeding. We're going to feed these people. We're going to feed anybody who's hungry, and we're going to feed it this time, at this place, every week. And golly, I think what would be left to do would be to keep going. I mean, it's not always easy because people's lives, get upended. So you need enough people. What we do at the Irish Channel is, if you take on a job, then you're responsible for replacing yourself. Oh. I mean, I can organize. We have a schedule on Facebook, a really thorough schedule that one of our really great folks put up. We have a schedule. We have the recipes. We have it's pretty tight, in terms of this is how you can make it, and this is where you come to pick up the supplies. If you can make it easy for people to cook, do that. Find your retirees. Find the people who believe in feeding their neighbors. There's so many good-hearted people in this city.
So some folks might be more familiar with what's often called a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
What do you see as the difference between what you all are doing versus a soup kitchen kind of approach?
Well, the soup kitchen, you're going to have the kitchen there, literally. I mean, you're basically serving out of the kitchen. We serve the containers, these, into the fridge, which means if you live in the neighborhood, you just go when you can to walk over there, and we are
not on a certain day at a certain time when
somebody
says they're open.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can go at midnight, and hopefully there'll be something there. Usually, the food goes within. I mean, we can pack 50 meals into one of these fridges, which of course we do, because we do 200 red beans and rice. It's like 60. It's gone in an hour. In an hour.
Because people know it's there.
Yeah. So in the soup kitchen, we don't ask people to cook together, because people like to cook at home, and you cook at home and you can cook, and you bring the pan to the hub and slam it in the fridge, and somebody else serves it. So I guess that's the big difference, is that our cooks are cooking at home, bring it to us, we package it, we put it in the fridge. More flexibility.
Okay, so how do you identify fridges where community folks can go to them and access them? And are they like on a street corner?
Oh, yeah.
Are they how are they plugged into someone's home?
Yep.
Or
all
how does
that
work?
Well, let's see. For example, Turkey and the Wolf is this wonderful cafe on
Familiar
Jackson.
with them?
Okay. They have a community fridge on their property. And ain't they great? I mean, Mason, who owns and operates the chef there, is one of the most incredibly generous people. And they are.
So they're part of the program
that
way.
In that way. They help. And so right there, right next to the store next to the cafe is their fridge. Another fridge is outside of the Recirculating Farms up the street. So Recirculating Farms is this wonderful nonprofit that grows the food, helps get the food to the community. They have fridge right on the sidewalk, right off their property. And then we have private homes. Somebody who's decided, okay, you can plug into my house, and I'll put it on the sidewalk, right off the sidewalk, and that's where people can come. And it's a big step for an individual, but that's how we got started. And the community fridges can be located on a Facebook page, another Facebook page, called the Community Fridge of New Orleans. Community fridges there's 17 or 18 fridges around here in New Orleans.
Not just yours.
Oh, there's 3 around our neighborhood, but there's 17 around the city. We need 1 in every neighborhood, if not more. There are none in New Orleans East.
None.
No. we would love to help people get started there. We would love to invite anyone who wants to see how we do it to come visit us at the hub, to meet, excuse me, our workers, to meet our organizers, to meet our cooks, and to see how we can support you getting going. Because that's what we can't grow and do 5 days a week, but we can help someone in another part of town kind of get organized and maybe help in whatever way we can.
So, have you gotten big enough? Are you too big? Do you have room for expansion? Are you going to have to move it away from your back of house and your yard? Or, I mean, you very quickly grown to serve 400 people a week, and that's a lot.
It's a lot.
But so, how are you feeling about where you are now, and what's the future look like?
Right now we're stable, and stable is good. It's predictable. We have a really great system, and we know we're putting out 400 meals a week. I would be loath to expand it more at this point, also because it's summer and people are in and out. When we get into the fall, if there's another way we can expand, for example, somebody brings us donations from a luncheon that gets served every day. That person drops off
something
the donation.
You can count on.
Yeah. So that person drops off the donations to the hub. I have another volunteer who comes, picks it up, takes care of her family, and then gives the rest to the fridges. So there's ways that we can feed more people from the hub that doesn't involve spending more money. What I like to do is just say, look, let's stabilize and see how we do with this 400 meals. $400 and just make sure that we are good. If and when we become a nonprofit and start getting larger grants and donations, then it might be time to move to another space. But for the moment, people love coming to my backyard. It's kind of nice, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Great. Wonderful. All right. So if people want to contact you, can they go on the Facebook page? I mean, it's private, or can they? Is there a phone number or a website, or what's the best way to reach you and or others in the community cooks of the Irish Channel?
I'm going to give them two ways. One way is you can email me directly, and my email is blindhug@gmail.com.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
blindhug@gmail. Just email me and say, hey, I'd really like to get connected. And the other way is if you're on Facebook, which I hope you are, go to Community Cooks of the Irish Channel and ask to join. And you can join you can join to participate in any way you want to. You can be an observer and just learn.
Learn about it.
Oh, yeah. A gal came down from Baton Rouge, looked at our system. There's some crews that are now coming by to say, hey, you know what? We're already together. Let's cook. And so we have some crews that are coming down to watch what we do.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, Sherry Myers, thank you so much for coming in and sharing this wonderful idea, a seed of an idea that has blossomed into something rather incredible. Thank you very much for doing this and making our community more special with this special project that you all have going. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you, Will.
All right. All right. Well, we're going to take a break now, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some more news and information you might want to be of. There's some brouhaha brewing in New York City, and we're mostly local, but sometimes there's stuff happening elsewhere that we want to bring to your attention. So we're going to do that after the break. If you want to weigh in, have something to say, you can call the talk line number, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
In nearly 50 years of covering Louisiana's justice system, I have never witnessed the indictment of a sitting state attorney general by an Orleans Parish grand jury or by a grand jury in any other Louisiana parish. That was big news. Then came even bigger news. All of the charges were dropped by the special prosecutor assigned to oversee the case. Former Judge Lori White, the special prosecutor, says she dropped the indictment against State Attorney General Liz Murrill because New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno and other city officials urged her to do so to ease tensions between the city and state. The mayor offered a peace sign asking Governor Jeff Landry to meet so they could resolve their differences. Landry said no, not until the city gets things in order. Requesting that the AG charges be dropped was another peace sign. Landry still said no, thank you. Landry and Murrill have no interest in being friends with New Orleans leaders. I understand not wanting to be friends with people who you think want you to be put behind bars for 80 years. The circumstances and the players are different, but what we have here is the latest chapter in a long history of the bruising political wars between the state and the city. It's not good for the city or the state. Who knows how this latest drama will play out? What matters is whether this legal grudge match helps citizens who want leaders who will improve their quality of life. Now, this unfortunate drama is damaging our state, our city, our judiciary, and our chances for more economic development. It boils down to this. It's a cartoon with characters bashing each other, and it's not funny. We deserve better. This is Norman Robinson, Off the Top.
Late nights are made for chillin', and you can do just that every Sunday night at 10 p.m. as DJ Wick brings you The Love Zone. It's the perfect way to top off your weekend with your favorite old and new school ballads. So sit back, relax, and let DJ Wick take you to the Love Zone on WBOK and on the World Wide Web at WBOK1230.com.
Step back into time and experience the moments that shaped our world at the National World War II Museum. This world-renowned museum brings history to life, telling the stories of the American experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. From immersive exhibits to powerful personal stories, this is more than a museum. Go to nationalww2museum.org and plan your visit today.
This is The Law and Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
If you had $1 million, would you leave it to an 18-year-old?
Hopefully not, but that's exactly what can happen with a simple will. The money goes straight to your kids when they hit the legal age, no guardrails.
A trust lets you control when and how they receive their inheritance. You can set ages, milestones, or even make sure they finish school first.
Give them security, not a spending spree.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
Interest rates and inflation are out of control. Is your credit card debt also out of control? It's time to resolve your debt and take back control for a lot less than what you owe. If you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt, then you need to call us right now. Debt Fix Pros can significantly reduce the amount you owe, and you could be debt-free faster than you think.
I knew we had to do something. Our debt was growing.
It was getting out of control, and we just didn't know what to do.
We saw an ad for Debt Fix Pros. We called, and they showed us how fast they could get us out of debt.
It really was amazing, and now we're back in control.
Call now, and we'll show you how easy it is to fix your debt. The call and consultation are free. Call Debt Fix Pros right now at 800-311-5977. That's 800-311-5977. 800-311-5977.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans. Welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton. I'm still here for at least another few minutes before we get to the fabulous Front Porch team. It's 8:44 a.m. and if you got somewhere to be at 9 o'clock, you got a few minutes yet, 15-ish, and you can make it because in New Orleans you can get almost anywhere in 15 to 20 minutes. What a delightful conversation with Sherry Myers from Community Cooks of the Irish Channel. Wonderful idea. Perhaps that's something that you can replicate in your neighborhood or nearby. We're going to go to the phone line and talk line and hear from Reverend Calhoun. Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. You're on with Will Sutton. Reverend Calhoun. Okay. We lost you for some reason, Reverend Calhoun, if you don't mind. Just call right back. Got a couple of things I want to share with you all, and one of them is going to take a few minutes. I want to give Reverend Calhoun a chance to get back in. If you have not been in the habit of looking at NOLA.com, I want you to take a look today. There is a letter to the editor from someone named Troy Carter, Congressman Carter. So I'm going to tell you about that in a minute because we've got Reverend Calhoun on the line. Let's see if we can get him now. Good morning, Reverend Calhoun. You're back.
Yes, I'm having some difficulties with my telephone transmission this morning. But number one, I just want to thank the city and Councilman Jason for sending a proclamation yesterday. But I do have some questions concerning you were talking about in being last and everything.
Yes, being last.
Really,
yeah.
did you have any insight on how to improve or get us to the next level? Or continuing the slide?
Yeah, we're having trouble hearing you, Reverend Calhoun, but I believe your question is, are there suggestions about how we can get better? Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so it's as I have looked at the report, the suggestions are built into the states that are doing so much better than we are. So if Minnesota is number one and they have various categories that they have ranked higher than us in these different categories, then what is it that they are doing that we're not doing? Or perhaps what is it that they're
that's
doing?
Pretty much my question.
Right. And you know, so for instance, in Wisconsin, I'm sorry, not Wisconsin, in Minnesota, they have a better overall rating because of the different categories where they rank higher. So for instance, in child mortality, they rank 13. Well, no, that's not number one, but it's far better than wherever we rank for that category. And then in, and this is certainly key to our state, in environment, air quality and greenhouse gas emissions, they rank 25 in air quality and 38 in gas emissions. So they're not in the top 25, but they're better than we are. And
let me ask you this, Will.
Yeah.
If the environmental piece for the state does not enforce those kind of things, how can it?
Right. Well, that's part of the difference between Louisiana and Minnesota. If you look at the report there, they don't get deep into the why, but it's clear when you look at the report and you see these various rankings. If you look at the Minnesota summary table, they have more green, which is good, than they have red, which is bad. And so when you look at the Louisiana table, we got too much red. And I don't mean Republican. I mean bad is red and good is green. And Minnesota has more green than we do. And I know this is a indicator for you, education. So they have 3 categories of education, and Minnesota is in the top 10 for each of those. Years of education, they're number 10. academic test
So would you
scores.
say
They're number
that
7.
do our laws need to be changed to reflect that in Minnesota?
Well, clearly they have been doing that, and not just in a single year or a single term, but they have been doing that over the course of time. So if Louisiana is going to get better, we have to start the change and then do it for a length of time for us to improve.
All right.
So you're absolutely on to something there. It's like, how do we get better? Look at these other places and change some of the policies, change some of the laws, and we too can rise on the charts. But we got to rise above 51 to get into the top 40, to get into the top 30, to get in the top 25, so we can get closer to number 1. If we as a people in Louisiana agree that's what we want to do.
Yeah. I don't know how you get that.
Right.
I don't know.
Right. Well, for one thing,
right.
we need more people like you asking the questions and doing the work, because one of the reasons that we are doing as well as we are in volunteerism is because of the Reverend Calhouns of the world.
All right, then, Will. I appreciate your time.
All right.
And on Thursday, we'll be in the Lord now.
All right. Very good. Lord's blessings,
right.
sir. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, folks, we are focused on New Orleans, Greater New Orleans, Southern Louisiana, and South primarily, but there are things happening in other parts of the nation and the world. And sometimes, I read things, I see things, I hear things, and it's like, man, I want to share this with our WBOK family of listeners. Well, there's been a little bit of a brouhaha in New York City and the state of New York. So, and this has everything to do with how we view the difference between Israel and Netanyahu. So Bibi is one thing. Israel is a different thing. For some people, that's tied together. For other people, it's very clear that it's not tied together, and it shouldn't be tied together. Well, the Israeli leader is scheduled to visit New York City next month. So there's a lot of excitement on the part of some people that he's going to be visiting New York. And there's a lot of pushback by some people who don't want him to step foot into their city. So the mayor of New York City, Mamdani, decided to address the issue directly. And we're going to hear what the mayor had to say. I'm going to tell you about some of the reaction and a comparison that I find interesting.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people.
Okay. That was the mayor deciding to address the issue of Bibi planning to visit New York City next month. We're going to play something from decades ago. It's not that long. I think you'll recognize the voice if you're a certain age and stage. And I just want you to hear what this gentleman, quote unquote, had to say decades ago.
In the name of the greatest people that have ever trod this earth, I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny, and I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. Let us send this message back to Washington by our representatives who are here with us today, that from this day we are standing up, and the heel of tyranny does not fit the neck of an upright man, that we intend to take the offensive and carry our fight for freedom across this nation, wielding the balance of power we know we possess in the Southland, that we, not the insipid bloc voters of some sections, will determine in the next election who shall sit in the White House of these United States.
Okay, for those of you all who may not have caught that, that was segregationist George Wallace, four-time presidential candidate, former governor of Alabama, one of his infamous speeches where he called for segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever. Well, former Democratic mayor of New York State, David Paterson, heard what Mamdani had to say and said Mamdani is the 2020s answer to George Wallace. Paterson filled an unexpired term, became the first black governor of New York State. And he's comparing the mayor to George Wallace. David Paterson, the first black mayor of governor of the state of New York, comparing this man, the mayor of New York City, to freaking George Wallace? Really? Man, I don't know where David Paterson has been, but I think he needs to go back to wherever he was and resume his life without making comments like this. You don't have to agree with Mamdani on some of everything. And I certainly of the thinking that there is a difference between Israel and Bibi. But man, George Wallace, no comparison. All right, folks, we're going to get up and get out of here. Got to make way for the front porch coming up next, right here at BOK. This is the BOK. I'm Will Sutton. Lord willing, I'll be back here tomorrow morning. This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.